Hey everyone, I'm Chris from Champion Helmets, and today we're going to be going through the top 5 full-face mid-range helmets for 2019. So we've already done the best of the best, and we've also done the best entry-level helmets, but today we're going to kind of fill that gap in between, and we're going to take a look at the best mid-range helmets for 2019 in the full-face category. So first up, we had the Shark Spartan Carbon here, the HJC RPHA, the Schuberth R2, the Shoei NXR, and the AGV K-5 S. Now, you probably noticed that a lot of these brands keep on popping up continually throughout our best of the best and top 5 videos, and that's probably for a good reason, and that reason is going to be they make good helmets. So I should explain what mid-range is, and it's about $400 US, give or take, and all these helmets are going to come in at around $400 to $500 US at the recommended retail price, making them mid-range. Now, because these helmets are going to be the $400 US mark, roughly, we have taken only the basic matte black design into consideration here because we want to have a fair judgment between them. So all these helmets have a few common things that I'm not going to go through 5 times with each individual helmet, and that's going to be that the liners are removable, washable, antibacterial, and they all come with some sort of pinlock lens provided in the box. So yeah, that's out of the way. I think I'm going to start off with the Shark Spartan Carbon. So here's the Shark Spartan Carbon. This is a sports touring helmet. It's going to be a little bit more sporty than touring though, because it has that carbon fiber shell, which makes it lighter, especially when you compare it to its less carbon fibery cousin, the Shark Spartan. It's going to be much more sporty in that regard. But overall, still a very good helmet, still capable at doing both, and obviously made out of carbon fiber, also mixed with fiberglass. Sadly though, the shell is only available in 2 different sizes, but it did score 4 out of 5 stars in the Sharp safety rating, which is a very impressive result. So we do have vents on the helmet, of course. We have the chin vent here. We have the top vent, can be individually open and closed, and these are going to be usable in both the tucked position for a more sporty rider, but also in the kind of upright position for a touring rider. So it's got that good versatility in terms of ventilation. It's going to all come out the back through vents underneath the wings here. Then we also do have a drop-down sun visor, controlled via this thing up top for some reason. It's not hard to use. And we also do have on the underside double D-rings. So perhaps another little sporty aspect of this helmet. So the HJC RPHA here is going to be a sports touring helmet, very similar to the Shark Spartan Carbon in that regard, and it's also been made out of a fiberglass carbon fiber mix. Now this helmet is going to be available in 3 different shell sizes, which is a nice little plus, and it scored 3 out of 5 stars in the Sharp safety rating, which was a bit of a disappointing result, and it's definitely the lowest technically on this list. So for ventilation, they did something very interesting with the RPHA. They took this top vent and they made it an exhaust. And while that sounds very weird, it is, but it works. So it's going to bring air in as well, so it's also an intake vent, and it's going to bring air out. The ventilation is quite strong in this helmet, but it did surprise me quite a bit. We do have a drop-down sun visor as well. It's controlled via this slider here, which is in the correct position in my opinion. It's the most easiest position to use. And then at the bottom we do have, of course, the double D-ring enclosure system, which people love. Some people. Then we have the emergency quick release cheek pads as well, so it's a nice safety aspect for this helmet. The AGV K-5 S is up next. This helmet, it's going to be from AGV, it's going to be more sporty. Simple. It does also function pretty well as a touring helmet though, it's just going to be more specialized as a sports helmet and a little bit less versatile in that touring kind of role. This helmet, it's going to be very sleek, it's going to be well ventilated, it's going to be a strong shell. It's made out of carbon fiber and fiberglass, and you can see that sleek design here. It did score 4 out of 5 stars in the Sharp safety rating test, and it's another good result. So the ventilation on the K5 is very similar to that of the Pista GPRs, especially in looks. We do have this vent here on the chin. You have to use a switch on the inside of the helmet to open and close it. I'm not the biggest fan of that, but it's there. Like I said, looks very similar to that of the Pista GPR's ventilation overall. We do also have a drop-down sun visor here on the side. So let me just drop that down. Boom. It's a little bit stiff, but over time, that does get better. It's a bit of a touring kind of feature having that drop-down sun visor as well. On the inside, we have a pretty interesting liner. That's because it's this Shalimar Ritmo fabric, and that's going to make it more comfortable for you. Then we do as well have here a double D-ring to top it all off. The Schuberth R2 is going to be a bit of an everything kind of helmet. It's going to be just as good as a sports helmet as it is as a touring helmet. And this can also be a little bit of a weakness, not being super specialized. But this helmet is made using Schuberth's direct fiber processing technology. That means it's going to be made out of fiberglass, and it has not yet been rated by Sharp. So we're not going to judge it there, but it does have the ECE rating, which is going to, it's a minimum standard that's covered in a lot of the world, and the ECE rating is held to quite a high regard from a lot of different riders. So it should be safe in that regard at least. It also does not come with a sun visor. It's one of the few helmets on this list that does not. You do, however, get emergency quick release cheek pads, a double D ring at the bottom, and it's also plug and play prepared for the Sena SC1 communication system. Now Schuberth have taken a different approach to ventilation on this helmet. It doesn't have the traditional exhaust vent as we typically see. Instead, it's got to come out of this little lowered section here. And there are EPS channels to let the air get out, but it's not that strong in my opinion. It would have probably benefited in terms of ventilation from an exhaust vent. And it's also less specialized as a touring or a sports helmet, like I've mentioned. And that means that it's going to be good for someone who is a very versatile rider, someone who's going to go one day sports bike riding, the next day someone who's going to go touring. So keep that in mind. If you're a versatile rider, this is a versatile helmet. So finally, we're at the Shoei NXR, and this is a more affordable helmet from Shoei, and it's been well liked by riders all around the world for quite some time. Some of you from outside of Europe may know it as the RF 1200 from Shoei though. It is the same helmet. So this helmet is made using their advanced integrated matrix technology, so it's basically fiberglass, and it also scored 4 out of 5 stars in the Sharp safety rating test. The ventilation on the NXR is good. We do have the brow vent here, and the vents up top are a little bit more forward, so it's going to be a little bit more effective in a tucked position. Bit more sporty helmet. It does not have an internal sun visor, less focused towards touring. We have emergency quick release tabs on the cheek pads, and also a double D-ring system, so definitely a more sporty helmet. So despite the fact that these are our top 5 helmets, we have given them a couple of tests, and the first one we did was the weight test. It's not the most rigorous of the tests, but it is very important, and it's a handy thing to know about a helmet. So these helmets, they came in at between 1.3 and 1.4 kilograms. It was a very, very tight spread, and that's great, makes my job much easier. So the lightest we had was the Shoei NXR here, came in at 1.3 kilograms. Then we had the Shark Spartan Carbon and the Schuberth R2 here, which came in at 1.35, and then these two came in at 1.4. 100 grams between them. They're all the size M, by the way, so it's a fair test. They did very well. So those results are going to be well below average, which is what we want to see with the top 5 mid-range helmets. We have of course performed our noise test on these helmets too, and we've tested to see how much straight environmental noise is blocked by the shell and liner. Now we have had some comments on the beep test, and let me emphasize this is not testing wind noise. Obviously wind noise is a big consideration when riding, and for that we're going to have new videos coming out soon where we test them on the road specifically for wind noise. This beep test though is going to give you a good indication of the engine noise and stuff like that is blocked by the helmet. So our test was actually pretty interesting. The helmets all scored between 20 and 24 with an average of 22. The HJC and AGV helmets were top at 24, followed by the Shoei and Schuberth at 22. Then the Shark came in at 20, and we had a very small range of results, and they scored this against a control of 17. This means that they all blocked a fairly similar amount of decibels, around 5 give or take. So it's fairly average, and it's what we would actually expect for helmets in this area. If one of these helmets has managed to catch your eye, or you just want to know a little bit more, then you can check out our website championhelmets.com, and here you can find plenty of info on specific helmets and gear, and you can also email us or live chat with us if you want to know more. So this has been our top 5 mid-range full face helmets for 2019. I hope you guys all found it useful, or at least you learned something, and if you did, then you should subscribe to our YouTube channel because you just might find something else there. So thanks for watching guys, I'm Chris from Champion Helmets, and I'll see you all next time.